Our presenters today are Gina Warner, the President of the National Office School Association, Leona Christie, that's me, I'm from Capital Said, and we also have Didi Ryan, who is my colleague here at Capital Said as well. We're excited to speak with you. Some quick webinar logistics. Please use the chat feature to post questions. That way we know what you have on mind. We will be answering those questions during Q&A. And you can also use the chat for help with any technical issues.
All right, so thank you for that. All right, so we have, so a lot of other on the call, a lot of consultants, and then happy to see a great number split there between our federal state agencies and our citywide district agencies people. So a nice split of participants on there. So I think that you all will find something of interest and hopefully see yourselves in some of this work. So just a little bit about the need. Trying to evaluate your program. Are you trying to build board capacity and staff up the governance of your organization? Are you looking at doing some strategic communication, some training, professional development? Those are some of the needs that we're hoping to address through the Expert Hub. So the challenge is, maybe you've identified what your problem is, but how do you find someone to help you solve it? I know when I was at the local level, often, you know how that goes. You have the usual suspects of consultants who do a lot of work for everyone, and so are they really the best person for you, or are they the only person that you know? So really, through this work, through the Expert Hub, we're hoping to lift up and to bring expertise and expert knowledge on a national level to your program, to programs, no matter where they are and where they're located, and really try and again, just bring the best expertise and the best knowledge, really bring greater equity and greater access to that as well. Breaking away from sort of the informal recommendations. And, sometimes when you're a smaller organization, and we'll talk a little bit about, the level of programs that we're looking at, you might think that you really can't access, the expertise level that you can, but we're really excited to talk about how we believe that this Expert Hub will help you do that. And then speaking to those of you on the line, as consultants and those of you who are established consultants are looking to get into the field, that this is a great opportunity for you to broaden your network and broaden your expertise and your portfolio of work that you're able to do also. So again, won't spend a lot of time doing this, but I'm sure we'll just ask you online, just raise your hand if any of this sounds familiar. Where you've been on the end of actually trying to secure an expert, or you've had people tell you this, when they've come to you as a consultant, that these are some of the challenges and I would say particularly, I think this is something within after school that we really struggle with. We're a pretty insular field, which is great. I think we have a strong sense of community, but, are we really looking to expand and be as expansive in the capacity building work that we're doing? All right, so at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Leona to kind of talk through what the NAA Expert Hub is all about.
Thank you, Gina. So essentially, the Expert Hub is a way for us to address the challenges that Gina just spoke about. Organizations trying to find great expertise for their work, and experts trying to find opportunities to expand their impact. The Office School Expert Hub will provide quick, easy, reliable, and affordable access to expert talent for what we call short-term mission-critical needs. Experts at the same time will be able to use the hub to gain easy access to opportunities that will allow them to amplify their impact. So there are three components to the solution, and this is what we've been trying to make sure we bring together in a really seamless and thoughtful way to provide a real solution for the sector. So the first part of it is a national network of sector experts, and we would very much expect that many of you on this call would be a part of that network. The second part of it is the know-how to scope and match projects. One of the challenges that we've seen in the sector is that many organizations find it difficult to articulate exactly what they need, and they also don't recognize how much certain elements of work should cost. So helping them figure out what exactly the requirement is and then connecting them to the right expert is going to be the second integral part of our offering. And the third part is a technology platform that makes the process of scoping projects, identifying options, finalizing an expert to work with, and then tracking project milestones and deliverables as seamless as possible. So, a quick side note on Catalyst Ed, we will be partnering with the National Office School Association to bring this expert hub to you. We are a pioneer in creating and managing expert networks in education. We launched last year, but essentially in the last 12 months or so, we built out this national network of more than 350 expert consultants and firms, and we've matched more than 70 projects across a range of areas. And what we've been able to demonstrate is that we are able to set up short-term engagement with success. We're able to connect organizations to expertise very quickly at costs that are really, really reasonable and very reliable as well. These are some of our client testimonials. I won't go into them in detail, but as you can see, people have seen tremendous value both on the client side, on the organization side, as well as on the expert side. And essentially, through this expert hub, what we are trying to provide to NAA members as well as the out-of-school community as a whole is a hub that does three things. Firstly, grow member capacity, organization capacity, so that we are improving program quality and supporting the mission of the organization. Ultimately, we are all in this to help the children, and we need to make sure that our organization have the right capacity in order to do that. The second part of our work is just creating community and connecting and growing the field of office experts and programs so that we're all working together to have more impact. And the last part is just getting valuable data and insights into organization needs. Right now, organizations and stakeholders in the field rely primarily on survey data to get a sense of what organizations need. But there is a difference between what somebody says they need and what we might actually require. And through this expert hub over a period of time, we are hoping to get a real sense of what are the emerging needs in the sector and how does that align with the supply of expertise and how can we make sure that if an organization needs help in an area, we actually get it. So that being said, I'm going to hand over the webinar platform to Didi, who is going to talk a little bit about how this works both on the organization end as well as on the expert end.
Thank you so much, Leona. I am going to walk through how it looks for those organizations, and this will be helpful for consultants and everyone else on the line as well. So through this process, we've tried to really make it as simple as possible for organizations so that Catalyst Ed and NAA are doing the heavy lifting to make it as easy as possible to list the project and identify what the need is and execute on that project. So let's say your organization wants to identify a professional development training for a workshop. You would go to the NAA Expert Hub website and identify what your need is. Tell us that you have a need. Catalyst Ed will then schedule a needs assessment call to help scope out the project for your approval. You then sit back and wait for proposals to come in. We typically ensure that we have between 3 and 5 consultant proposals, but sometimes there can be many more than that. We assure you that you'll have at least 3 to 5 proposals to decide between. You then select the expert that works best for your project and evaluate the experience at the end of the process. How it works as an expert or as a consultant, you apply to be a member of the Expert Hub. We take you through a vetting process, and then where you identify your areas of expertise. You get an email alert when a project that is aligned to your skills and experiences are posted. You respond to that, respond to the proposals that you're interested in with a proposal and a budget. This allows you to respond to only projects that you're interested in, if you have capacity and the time to engage in a certain project but not in another. It doesn't determine, you'll still receive project alerts regardless of your response to an initial. You then submit your proposal and budget. If the organization is interested in interviewing you, you'll correspond with them regarding that. And if you're selected for a specific project, you then evaluate the project after that experience as well. The types of projects that we are focusing on, we've worked with the National After School Association to identify areas of need that programs often look to for outside help from consultants and vendors. These are some of the areas. We've got professional development and training, strategic planning, fundraising, earned revenue strategy, public relations, communications, governance, evaluation, human capital management, operations and finance, and technology and data systems. This is by no means exhaustive of a list, and so if you have any other project areas that we have not identified, feel free to also list those. These are just areas that we anticipate having a fair number of projects listed, and these are the areas that have emerged as needs. Moving forward. Around pricing. So as you can see from that list, we have a range of project types. We also have a range of project prices and duration. So typical projects can go anywhere from 1 day and be $500 projects to a several month engagement that is over $100,000. It really depends on the type of project and what that organization needs. So for project costs, experts set their own bid price, and organizations pick what they see as the best value for their project. The cost to use the Expert Hub, there is no cost for organizations to list projects, and no cost to experts for being included in the network. Experts do pay 10% of the project value for each project that is matched. We fully expect experts to build that 10% into their budget, and because that is universal to all experts, we don't anticipate that changing the project cost. Now, I would love to turn it back over to Leona for a preview of the website.
Thank you, Didi. I get the fun part of sharing the Expert Hub with you. So I'm going to get off the PowerPoint right now and log on to my browser so you can see what this looks like. I feel like we need a drum roll here. But essentially, this is the login page for the After School Expert Hub. This is going to be connected to the National After School Association website, so people can go to the website and click on the link from the NAA website to get to this point. Once they get here, they click on this button to enter the hub. There you have it. So the next two web pages essentially provide organizations as well as experts information on how the process is going to work, the kinds of projects that are listed, goes through FAQs in detail, and then there's of course some information about us as well. So let me go through each of these things in turn. And again, as a quick reminder, if you have questions, please use the chat window to send those questions to us. We'll be delighted to take those questions at the end of this webinar. So here's how it works. And we're going to give it a second to appear on your screen. There you have it. So how it works is essentially a summary of what we just covered with you. It takes people through the process of scoping the project, of finding experts and making the match, and then of course about the post-project evaluations as well. And this is a great resource for you to share with board members, other stakeholders who you think might be interested, a way for them to identify how this might work and how it might help them. Right as you scroll down to this, there is a way for organizations to either schedule a needs assessment call, browse popular projects, and also for experts to join the network. And we'll come back to this in a minute. The project section is actually one of the pieces that we are really proud about. We worked, and it's going to come up in a second. There we have it. So this is one of the pieces that we really are proud about. We recognize that organizations often find it difficult to conceptualize what exactly a project might look like. So we work very closely with NAA to identify project areas of need and then scope out projects. So if you scroll up here, these are some of the project areas that we talked about. There's professional development and training, there's program evaluation, strategic planning, on-job strategy, all of that stuff. If you click on one of these, so that's professional development and training, you can see that there is a mini scope here already. So it gives organizations guidance on when they would use this project, what would be some of the key activities conducted by consultants under this project, and what would be some key deliverables. And this scope becomes a starting point for the larger tailored scope that we will create for every project. If an organization decides to select this project, they click up here, and here comes a handy pre-populated form that they can use just to let us know what they're looking for. They might decide that they don't need an assessment piece because they already have that from some prior work. That's absolutely fine. We could just select the elements that are important for them. So those are some of the project areas and the sample project scopes. We currently have about 10, 12 scopes out here that we expect will be the ones that organizations are most interested in. Over a period of time, we definitely anticipate increasing the number of pre-populated scopes. Having said that, we've also had very niche projects posted in our larger blacklisted network. So it doesn't matter how specific the project requirement is, we will work with our referral partners and with NAA to make sure that organizations have the right expertise for their requirement. The FAQ section goes through many of the questions that organizations and experts would be interested in. We will be covering some of these questions also in our Q&A later on. And the about us is just about that. So let me also spend a few minutes talking about what the process looks like once you actually list the project. So if an organization lists a project or communication strategy, they will have access to our platform that looks like this. And once they click on this, you can see there are 2 consultants who have applied for this project, Jack Spratt and Jane Doe. They are highly creative when it comes to coming up with names, as you can see. And they can click on Jane Doe's name to review her resume. They can click on documents to see the budget and the proposal that she has put forward. They can see her references, her categories, the categories that she does work in, and they can also email her directly and schedule time for the interview. One thing that Didi mentioned briefly is that once the project has been matched, we will then give clients as well as experts access to a part of our technology platform that actually allows organizations as well as experts to track their progress on the project and make sure that things like milestones, invoicing, and payments are tracked appropriately across all the entities doing this work. Alright, great. So that brings us to the end of our technology platform preview. Hopefully this hasn't generated more questions than we've answered. And now I'm going to take this back to Gina for our last few questions, our last few slides.
Okay, so thank you, Leona and Bibi, and to everyone on the call. I think you can see why I'm so excited about this. I mean, really simply, stronger organizations mean higher quality programs, means better outcomes for kids, which means a stronger field of after school. So it's really, frankly, that simple. So really excited to have you all a part of this to get this Expert Hub up and running. So now that you've seen the preview, the audience will question, how do you see yourself using this platform? And so we have a couple of choices there. So if you just take a second to answer. Okay, so we see a nice split between, I think we have some potential project people there, and we're happy to see that we have a lot of those. And I'm looking at the participant list, so I can imagine, that I'm seeing you guys as being able to offer a tremendous amount of expertise, but also in some of you on your organizational roles, being able to benefit from this as well. So thank you. We're going to switch now to some questions. So let me go after I go over a couple of key dates. So the expert sign up is open. So I hope as soon as this call's over, you'll go ahead and sign up to be one of our experts. You'll see there that in a couple of weeks we will be launching the Expert Hub. We wanted to give this preview, to our experts to build up our expert community, and then later on in July we'll begin to open it more broadly, begin taking projects in. So you have about a 2-week window there to get your expert profile filled out. And then you'll see the August date there. We're going to be doing a webinar for state education agencies, state health and human resource people. Those of you who follow federal policy work, you know that in ESDA, new dollars available for training technical assistance. We're really excited about the timing of this project because we think that goes really well for reaching out to, these state-level individuals to let them know that we have this expert pool here so they can actually hopefully use some of those resources at the state level, at the organizational level, to make you all available to their networks also as well. So we have a couple of questions that have come into the chat box, and we're going to, Leona and Vivi are going to take a few moments to answer those. If you have additional questions, continue to type them in. But let's go ahead and start with our first questions and address those.
So this is Vivi. The first question that we have is, are there minimum expert qualifications? So right now there are not. We vet all of the experts in the hub. However, we do expect a diverse range of expertise within that, so they can be senior level executives or really more entry level in the after school field. It's going to be up to the organizations to find the talent that meets the needs of their project, and so they will ultimately decide who's appropriate based on their budget, geography, and what the project is.
And this is Gina, so I want to weigh on this to people on the call. So this is not to disparage like any large consulting firms or anything. This is really, so if you're sitting there thinking, well, I'm not sure if I'm an expert, please apply. Because we are really looking for people who have, we're looking for experienced experts and knowledge experts. So if you've been doing this work for, 10, 15, 20 more years, you're like, oh, but I've never been a consultant before, I don't know if I can do this. Please, I cannot say that enough. Apply, because, let's really formal definitions of what it means to be an expert or a consultant. This is really our effort to really try and broaden that pool and bring the greatest base of knowledge and experience to us. And do you want to talk a little bit about the vetting process?
Absolutely. So once you log on to the hub and apply to be an expert, you'll fill out an application and submit your resume, and we will review that information and get back to you with, if you meet the criteria that Gina explained, we will reach out to you by email with a series of reference requests. We will give you a template to share with those references to let them know that you've applied to be part of the Expert Hub and what that is, just to help kind of ease that burden, to let them know that we'll be contacting them. We will then contact them via a web-based form. Part of what we're going to ask them to do, as well as what we're going to ask them to do, is is to identify your areas of expertise. So both you and your references will identify your top 3 areas of expertise, and this is so that we can help direct projects to you that are in your scope and area.
And so one person wants to know if firms can apply as well. Would you want to take that?
Absolutely. So we want everyone to apply as in the way that they will be conducting this work. So firms can apply as well as individuals within a firm. If you're going to bring the expertise of a larger network that you're affiliated with, we would love for you to apply as a firm rather than as an individual.
Thank you, Vivi. There are a couple of questions asking about how matches are made. So I'm going to go through that in a little bit of detail. So when we scope out projects, we stand them along several dimensions that include the subject matter area, the type of project, the geography, the level of seniority, so things like that. And at the same time, we also look at every consultant in the network and every consultant from the network along those same dimensions. So when a project is listed and say it requires, and we say it's listed as a professional development project requiring a senior level consultant and implementation, we would then send out an email alert to every consultant in our database who meets those 3 criteria, and then it's up to them to apply. The organization gets to see the proposals of every consultant who has applied, but then they decide who they want to interview and who they want to work with. So there is an initial, through the system decides who gets the alert, but then after that it's up to the organization to decide who makes the matches. First come, along a similar line, somebody wants to know if there's a first come, first serve. There isn't. We do all applications, all proposals that come in are reviewed by the client. The only thing we've realized through our experience doing these matches for the Catalyst Web network as a whole is that people who send in their proposals early on do get more of a chance to make an impression. So we do encourage people to apply as quickly as possible. Somebody wants to know if they get a copy of the PowerPoint at the end. Yes, absolutely. We will send out a follow-up email with a copy of this PowerPoint deck. We will also be sharing a recording of this webinar, and we will make sure that we take off the first 15 minutes of the webinar, which really just consists of saying, "Do you hear us? Do you not hear us?" We have some questions based on the marketing and the acquisition process for getting customers and for getting organizations to post projects. Should I take that as? Is that all right? Please. Okay. So we see 2 kinds of projects out there. One set of projects is where organizations already know that they need someone to help them with, and they just need to be guided to us. So to get those kinds of projects, we will essentially be relying on an outreach strategy, a communication strategy that goes through email, that uses social media. We will also be leveraging our relationships with influencers in the field to get the word out. There are a lot of organizations out there doing important work in this area, and we need to make sure we get the word out to them in as efficient and effective a way as possible. So that's going to be one big part of our strategy, just getting the word out. The second part of our strategy aligns to a bigger set of projects. Our sense is that a lot of projects that need to be listed are not being listed. Organizations very often don't realize that they can get help in several areas that are huge pain points for their organization. So just to give you a sense, fundraising projects are often listed on the Catalyst website because everyone knows they need fundraising help. What we've been able to get people to get organizations to recognize is that they will also explore on-revenue strategies. They can also explore annual giving plans. They can also do things like cost efficiency projects. And so that suddenly opens their minds and inspires them to look at expertise in a whole new way and really get their organization to do this taken care of. So in order to do that, we will be relying on sharing stories and sample folks and a whole lot of other stuff that just gets people thinking caps on and get them to really reflect on how they can use short-term expertise. Is there anything that you want to add to that?
So I say it's similar to what I said about the expert. Like if you're not sure if you see yourself an expert, you're not sure exactly what kind of help you need. You're not sure. I know from my stint as a consultant, I get hired a lot to do development work, only to find out it was really for governance. Maybe that the organization needed, or maybe it was organizational development. I think it's always the pain point is the money issue, but when you dig a little bit deeper, maybe something else. So again, I would say, I think that we together crafted some really great. That's what's so awesome about the assessment. I think we've crafted some really great questions to pull out maybe what the organization needs help with. And I'll emphasize again, also, the great diversity in budgets that we're looking at. We're not talking about, and I can remember again back to when I was doing work at the local organizational level, putting out proposals for help and getting, a national consulting firm to give me we'll do this for like $107,000. And I was like, okay, that's about 10 times more than what I have budgeted, for this. And that really there's a lot of work that can be done, I think, with much more strategic forms of investment that align with, we're all nonprofits in this work, that align with what we understand, nonprofit budgets to be. So all that to say, if you're wondering about what it is you can do and you're wondering about how much you have to spend, I encourage you again to look at this from the organizational or project perspective. Just as open-mindedly as I would ask you to look at it from the expert perspective as well.
Great, thank you, Gina. Such an important point about using this resource to miss projects, even if you're not really sure it is a project. Our team here is happy to work with organizations and help them figure out what exactly they need and pull that into a really tight scope so that organizations are not spending more money than they require and at the same time are getting the help that addresses the problem we have. All right, so our next question is around how is this expert hub different from more established platforms like Hourly Nerd and Fiverr? So for those of you who are not aware of Hourly Nerd and Fiverr, these are platforms that similarly connect organizations in the private sector with consultants. We see a couple of big differences. I think first of all is to focus on the out-of-school time community and on meeting the needs of this community. I think if you go onto either of these websites, really, the projects they have, the consultants they have, they're all very much geared to a different profile of clients and with a different set of needs. I think the second part of it, though, and this is a big change, a big difference as well, is that we have really tailored our services to meet the needs of the organizations in this sector. We recognize that many organizations out there are not super technology savvy and recognize that articulating projects is a challenge for them. So we actually invest time having phone conversations with them, helping them figure out what exactly is needed, literally holding their hands in this process. And none of the other organizations, platforms that do this really have that. The second difference is that we do have a vetting process for consultants, and that's something, again, that on Fiverr, I could go on Fiverr today and claim that I have expertise in design, and, let me just assure you that that's not the case. I think the third difference is just in terms of why we are doing it. I mean, I think that's a really important thing for all of us to keep in mind. The reason NAA and Catholic are in this work is because we have been incredibly frustrated by the fact that when organizations need help, they have nowhere to go, and the downstream impact is on children, it's on the people who are doing this work, who are constantly burnt out. It's also on the experts in the sector who feel that they are not getting work that they could be valued for, who have to deal with skepticism about the impact that they have. And we know that there are great people out there. We know that there is a need for their expertise, and we're saying, is there a way for us to very actually provide a service that will allow these organizations to connect with the right folk? It's actually making a match that is not just helpful for each entity, but for the sector as a whole. So that's, I think, another big thing. All right, great. So we do have one comment here. Someone saying that someone's starting, and that's maybe making a difference. So I'm just going to remind everyone to just put that phone on mute again. All right. So we have a question on the pricing, and I'm happy to take that question as well. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. So the question is it 10% based on the project contract amount or the amount paid? So let's just walk through how this is going to work in practice, and this is how it's worked for the current matches that we make as well. So say it's a $10,000 project, and the payment is made in 2 installments of $5,000 each, $5,000 at the end of the first deliverable in 6 weeks, the second $5,000 at the end of the final deliverable in 12 weeks. We would send out the payment reminder or the invoice to the consultant after they receive the first payment, with the expectation that they will make the payment after that. So we are not expecting a payment in advance. We recognize that people in this field work on a very tight cash flow, and we want to work with them to make sure that we're not putting undue pressure on them. There's obviously an element of trust involved here, but we believe ultimately that we're all in this to do the right thing, and we are very comfortable with just waiting for it. So that's about the payment. We have a question on once you sign up as an expert, when will they know it's being accepted? Do you want to give that?
Absolutely. So right now we're vetting experts and sending out referrals on a monthly basis. So it will happen at the last day of every month. We will be reviewing applications and starting the reference check process at that point. We will be in email communication with you, and we will post those dates online so that everyone is aware when you're spreading the word about the Expert Hub also. So that will be part of the process. So we will be in communication with you at every step of the way. And if there's a delay in having your references communicate or complete the reference check process, we will also let you know that information so that you can take the appropriate steps to ensure that you have a complete application.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you, Didi. It looks like we have just a couple of minutes left before we reach the end of this webinar. Before I hand the phone over to Gina for her final thoughts, I wanted to once again thank you all for being extremely patient with us during the first 15 minutes of this call while we were working our way through the technology issues. Remind everyone that the application process for experts is open, so please do apply. And finally, also just say that as both Didi and Gina have emphasized, this is about creating that community of experts and organizations. So we would very much welcome any feedback that you have, any suggestions that you have. we do not want to create this resource for the sake of creating a resource. We want this to be something that everyone uses. So anything that will make this easier for you, make it more likely that you will both use it yourself as well as recommend it to others, we would very much welcome hearing about that. Our email addresses are there on the last slide here. So please feel free to send us an email. And we also will have a survey sent out as well. Tina, any last thoughts?
I just want to thank everyone for participating, and again, thank you for your patience at the beginning. And just, say how excited I am about this. From NAA's perspective, our mission is to inspire and connect and equip, and to me, this work just aligns so perfectly with that. And I'm really excited to lift up the expertise that you all have and bring it to the programs and the organizations that need their help again. So we're delivering better outcomes for kids, and we're building a stronger field after school. So you all, thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your afternoon, and we look forward to seeing those expert applications coming in. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.